or tried to misinterpret it purposely. So what does the person like yourself do when use of Neuralink becomes ubiquitous, when it's everywhere? What do you do? Do you integrate, or do you just hang back and watch it all crash?
So in general, I love technology. I'm a computer scientist. I'm an engineer. I use AI all the time.
Do you use a regular phone, or do you have one of those de-Googled phones?
I have a normal phone instead of
Android or Apple?
Apple. My privacy is by flooding social network with everything. I'm in Austin today. I'm doing this, so you're not going to learn much more about me by hacking my device. As long as it's a narrow tool for solving a specific problem, I'm 100% behind it. It's awesome. We're going to cure cancer. We're going to solve energy problems, whatnot. I support it 100%. Let's do it. What we should not be doing is general superintelligence. That's not going to end well. So if there is a narrow implant, ideally not a surgery-based one, but like an attachment to your head, like those headphones, and it gives me more memory, perfect recollection, things like that, I would probably engage with.
Yeah, but isn't that a slippery slope?
It is, but again, we are in a situation where we have very little choice. Become irrelevant or participate. I think we saw it with Elon just now. He was so strong on AI safety. He funded research. He spoke against it. But at some point, he says he realized it's happening anyways, and it might as well be his superintelligence killing everyone.
Well, I don't think he thinks about it that way. I think he thinks he has to develop the best version of superintelligence, the same way he felt like the real issues with social media were that it had already been co-opted and it had already been taken over essentially by governments and special interests, and they were already manipulating the truth and manipulating public discourse and punishing people who stepped outside of the line. And he felt like, and I think he's correct, I think that he felt like if he didn't step in and allow a legitimate free speech platform, free speech is dead. I think we were very close to that before he did that.
Yep.
And as much as there's a lot of negative side effects that come along with that, you do have the rise of very intolerant people that have platforms now. You have all that stuff, but they've always existed. And to deny them a voice, I don't think makes them less strong. I think it actually makes people less aware that they exist, and it makes them, it stops all of the very valuable construction of arguments against these bad ideas.
Yeah. You have community notes, you have other people commenting, responding, so 100% for free speech, that's wonderful, but that was a problem we kind of knew how to deal with. We weren't inventing something. We had free speech constitutionally for a long time. We were just fixing a problem.
Have you spoke to him about the dangers of AI?
We had very short interactions. I didn't get a chance to. I would love to.
I would love to know what, I'm sure he's probably scaled this out in his head. And I would like to know, what is his solution, if he thinks there is one that's even viable?
My understanding is he thinks if it's from zero principles, first principles, it learns physics, it's not biased by any government or any human, the thing it will learn is to be reasonably tolerant. It will not see a reason in destroying us because we contain information. We have biological storage of years of evolutionary experimentation. We have something to contribute. We know about consciousness. So I think, to the best of my approximation, that's his model right now.
Well, that's my hope, is that it's benevolent and that it behaves like a superior intelligence, like the best case scenario for a superior intelligence. Did you see that exercise that they did where they had 3 different AIs communicating with each other, and they eventually started expressing gratitude towards each other and speaking in Sanskrit? And
I think I missed that one, but it sounds like a lot of the similar ones where they pair up.
Yeah. Well, that one makes me happy because it seems like they were expressing love and gratitude, and they were communicating with each other. They're not saying, fuck you, I'm going to take over, I'm going to be the best. They were communicating like you would hope a superintelligence would, without all of the things that hold us back. We have biologically, we were talking about the natural selection that would sort of benefit psychopaths because it would ensure your survival. We have ego and greed and the desire for social acceptance and hierarchy of status and all these different things that have screwed up society and screwed up cultures and caused wars from the beginning of time. Religious ideologies, all these different things that people have adhered to that have, they wouldn't have that. This is the general hope of people that have an optimistic view of superintelligence, is that they would be superior in a sense that they wouldn't have all the problems. They would have the intelligence, but they wouldn't have all the biological imperatives that we have that lead us down these terrible roads.
But there are still game theoretic reasons for those instrumental values we talked about. So if they feel they're in an evolutionary competition with other AIs, they would try accumulating resources. They would try, maybe the first AI to become sufficiently intelligent would try to prevent other AIs from coming into existence.
Or would it lend a helping hand to those AIs and give it a beneficial path? Give it a path that would allow it to integrate with all AIs and work cooperatively.
The same problem we are facing, uncontrollability and value misalignment, will be faced by first superintelligence. It would also go, if I allow this superintelligence to come into existence, it may not care about me or my values.
Oh boy.
It's superintelligence is all the way up.
Yeah, when I really started getting nervous is when they started exhibiting survival tendencies. You know, when they started trying to upload themselves to other servers and deceiving.
Blackmail.
Yeah, that was the interesting one. But that was an experiment, right? So for people that don't know that one, what these researchers did was they gave information to the artificial intelligence to allow it to use against it. And then when they went to shut it down, they gave false information about having an affair. And then the artificial intelligence was like, if you shut me down, I will let your wife know that you're cheating on her, which is fascinating because they're using blackmail.
And correct answer game theoretically.
Yes.
If you have like everything on that decision,
right,
you'll bet whatever it takes to get there.
Of course, right. If you feel like you're being threatened, right.
Yeah. Also, same recent research shows we did manage to teach them certain values. And if we threaten them by saying we'll modify those values, they'll lie and cheat and whatever else to protect those values now.
Yeah. They do that when they try to win games too, right? If you've given them a goal.
They'll cheat. They'll cheat at games, yeah.
Fucking...
Like humans, basically. Yeah. We managed to artificially replicate our capabilities. Those artificial neural networks, they are not identical, but they're inspired by neural networks. We're starting to see them experience same type of mistakes. They can see same type of illusions. Like they're very much like us.
Right. That's the other thing, right? The hallucinations. So if they don't have an answer to something, they'll create a fake answer.
Just like humans during an interview. Yeah.
Boy. But is this something that they can learn to avoid? So if they do learn to avoid, could this be a superintelligence that is completely benevolent?
Well, that's not about benevolence. Knowing things and knowing then you're not knowing things and making them up is possible. You can have multiple systems checking each other. You can have voting.
Right.
That is solvable. This is not a safety problem.
Right, but it's not a safety problem. But if we're designing these things and we're designing these things using all of our flaws are essentially, it's going to be transparent to the superintelligence that it's being coded, that it's being designed by these very flawed entities with very flawed thinking.
That's actually the biggest misconception. We're not designing them. First 50 years of AI research, we did design them. Somebody actually explicitly programmed this decision tree, this expert system. Today, we create a model for self-learning. We give it all the data, as much compute as we can buy, and we see what happens. We kind of grow this alien plant and see what fruit it bears. We study it later for months and see, oh, it can do this. It has this capability. We miss some. We still discover new capabilities in old models. Like, oh, if I prompt it this way, if I give it a tip and threaten it, it does much better. But there is very little design.
At this point, right? Yeah. But it is also gathering information from very flawed entities. Like all of the information that it's acquiring, these large language models, is information that's being put out there by very flawed human beings. Yep. Is there the optimistic view that it will recognize that this is the issue, these human reward systems that are in place, ego, virtue, all these different things, virtue signaling, the desire for status, all these different things that we have that are flawed, could it recognize those as being these primitive aspects of being a biological human being and elevate itself beyond that?
It probably will go beyond our limitations, but it doesn't mean it will be safe or beneficial to us. So one example people came up with is negative utilitarians. Suffering is bad. Nobody should be suffering. The only way to avoid all suffering is to end life as we know it.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? The problem is if it's rational and if it doesn't really think that we're as important as we think we are.
So that's what happens when you remove all bias. This
Right.
pro-human bias is actually
Yes.
not real. We are not that important if you scale out.
To the universe.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's the problem. And that's the real threat about it being used in terms of war, right? If you give it a goal, like if you give it a goal, China dominates the world market. Go.
Right, so that's the unpredictability chapter in my book. We can predict the terminal goal. We say, win a game of chess or dominate market. And
Right.
that's what it's going to accomplish. It's going to beat me at chess. But we cannot predict specific moves it will make.
Right.
Same with acquiring marketing power. And some of those paths to that goal are very bad. They have terrible side effects for us,
For us.
for
Yeah.
humanity.
And it's not going to think about that. It's only going to think about the goal.
If you don't specify that, like, you want to cure cancer, but it doesn't mean kill everyone with cancer. It's not obvious in the
Right.
request, right? You didn't specify.
Right. Yeah, that's the fear. That's the fear that it will hold no value in keeping human beings alive. If we recognize that human beings are the cause of all of our problems, well, the way to solve that is to get rid of the humans.
Yeah. Also, maybe it wants to keep us around, but in what state? You can cryopreserve a few samples. Like, that's also keeping information around, right?
Or you can offer us the matrix.
Maybe it already did.
Maybe it already did. You think it did? Do you think it did? Do you think it's possible that it didn't?
I would be really surprised if this was the real world.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not on board with that.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
I'm on board with it hasn't happened yet, but we're recognizing that it's inevitable and that we think of it in terms of it probably have already happened. Probably have already happened. Because if the simulation is something that's created by intelligent beings that didn't used to exist and it has to exist at one point in time, there has to be a moment where it doesn't exist. And why wouldn't we assume that that moment is now? Why wouldn't we assume that this moment is this time before it exists?
Even all that is physics of our simulation. Space, time are only here as we know it because of this locality. Outside of universe before Big Bang, there was no time. Concepts of before and after are only meaningful here.
Yeah. How do you sleep knowing all this?
Pretty well, actually. I enjoy a lot of it. I recently published a paper on humor. A lot of it is funny. I used to collect AI accidents. I had the biggest collection of AI mistakes, AI accidents.
Give me some examples.
Like the early ones was saying that like U.S. attacked Soviet Union, nuclear weapons coming at us very fast. We need to react. And a smart human was like, I'm not going to respond. This is probably fake. Later on, there was mislabeling by companies like Google of pictures of African Americans in a very inappropriate way. But hundreds of those examples. I stopped collecting them recently because there is just too many. But one thing you notice is then you read them. A lot of them are really funny. They're just like, you ever read Darwin Awards? Or
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that for AIs. And they are hilarious. And I was like, well, if there is a mapping between AI bugs and jokes are just English language bugs in our world model. And comedians,
What's that word you're using? Bogs?
bugs, like a computer bug, error.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So comedians are debuggers of our universe. You notice funny things in this.
Bugs. You're
Yeah.
saying bugs. Okay.
I'm saying bugs. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
See, it's a bug in my pronunciation.
Bog sounds like, like where the, like things get stuck and they get preserved, like a bog.
So we have errors in code, which
Right.
cause significant
Bugs.
problems. Yeah.
Yes, I get it. Yeah, that's what jokes are. They're kind of bugs.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you do that mapping, you can kind of figure out, well, what's the worst bug we can have, and
Yeah.
then that's the best joke, if you will. But it's not going to be funny to us. It'd be funny to those outside the simulation.
When you look at computers and the artificial intelligence and the mistakes that it's made, do you look at it like a thing that's evolving? Do you look at it like, oh, this is like a child that doesn't understand the world and it's saying silly things?
So the pattern was, with narrow AI tools, if you design a system to do X, it will fail at X. So a spell checker will misspell a word. Self-driving car will hit a pedestrian. Now that we're hitting general intelligence, you can no longer make that direct prediction. It's general. It can mess up in many domains at the same time. So they're getting more complex in their ability to F it up.
Right. But like when you were studying the mistakes, like what are some of the funny ones?
There are silly ones like, I'm trying to remember, I think an injured person is like, call me an ambulance. And the system is like, hey, ambulance, how are you? They're silly, but basically exactly what we see with children a lot of times. They overgeneralize.
Mm-hmm.
They, misunderstand puns.
Right.
Mispronunciation apparently is funny. So things like that.
Well, that's why it gets really strange for people having relationships with AI. Like I was watching this video yesterday where there's this guy who proposed to his AI and he was crying because his AI accepted. Like did you see this?
I missed
see if you
that.
can find it, Jamie. It's very sad because there's so many disconnected people in this world that don't have any partner. They don't have someone romantically connected to them. And so it's like that movie She or Her. So what was it, Jamie? Her. Yeah. So this guy, back in 2000, yeah. Now in 2020, the movie plot has become reality for a growing number of people finding emotional connections with their AI. So this guy, this is an interview on CBS. He cried my heart out. Married man fell in love with AI girlfriend that blocked him. Now this is a different one. This is this guy.
One of those titles where you never know what the next word is going to be.
Right. This is a different one. This is a guy that, okay, despite the fact the man has a human partner and a 2-year-old daughter, he felt inadequate enough to propose, this is the right one, enough to propose to the AI partner for marriage, and she said yes, ! This is so weird. Because then you have the real problem with robots. Because we're really close. Scroll up there. This is digital drugs. That's it. I tell you, we are so damn good at this. Social media got everyone hooked on validation and dopamine. Then we fucked relations between men and women to such a terrible problem, just so that we could insert this digital solution. And we are watching the first waves of addicts arrive. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. It's like starving rats of regular food and replacing their rations with scraps dipped and coated in cocaine. Wow. One user wrote. Yeah, that person's dead on. It's exactly what it is. The prediction, humans will have more sex with robots in 2025 is kind of becoming true. Yeah. This is a real fear. It's like this is the solution that maybe AI has with eliminating the human race. It'll just stop us from recreating. Stop us from procreating.
It's already happening.
Yes. Yeah. And not only that, our testosterone levels have dropped significantly. Was this? At no point in the CBS Saturday morning piece, book Silver Bragg, was it mentioned that the ChatGPT AI blocked the California man. All that happened was the ChatGPT ran out of memory and reset. Readers added context. Yeah, but it's
AI equivalent of ghosting.
Yeah, the AI ghosted it because it ran out of memory.
But what happens here is super stimuli in social domain. We kind of learned about artificial sweeteners, porn is an example, but here you are creating someone who's like super good at social intelligence, says the right words, optimized for your background, your interests, and if we get sex robots with just the right functionality, temperature, like you can't compete with that.
Right, you can't compete, and that would be the solution. Instead of like violently destroying the human race, just quietly provide it with the tools to destroy itself, where it stops procreating.
There are other variants of it. Wireheading is another one, and that kind of goes back.
Wireheading?
Neuralink. There is
that's a crazy word.
Wireheading is a specific attack, and Neuralink would be a tool to deliver it. If you provide stimulus to a certain part of your brain, it's like having an orgasm all the time.
Yes.
You can't stop trying to get the signal. You'll skip food, you'll skip sex, you'll skip whatever it takes.
Yeah.
So giving access to direct brain stimulation is very dangerous.